Il piacere è mio.
Hello, hello. Welcome to the Renaissance Age. So, Ubisoft did it again, and thanks to them, I have access to the new hero and I can make a guide. So, in this video, I want to give you some reasons why to play Virtuosa and, of course, how. So, first, she has multiple different stances. She's extremely versatile. She has a great feats, aka ability combinations. She is in general very hard to catch, especially in the minion. And if you look for a hero where you can spend hours and hours in someone, like in Virtuosa for example, and you still feel, you think you have some room for improvements, that's the hero. I think she has one of the highest skill ceilings in the game. Alright, let's start. Hello guys, so what is Virtuosa all about? Alright, the most unique thing about her is she has 3 unique dances. Most of the heroes, they have just one, like hidden stance, castle stance, bulwark and so on. But she has 3. That's super cool. I simplify the terms. For example, we have dual stance, we have a guard stance, aka anti-gank stance, and we have a gank stance, alright? So I will simplify stances by names to make it sure to make them more catchy. So top, every time when you throw a top attack, you enter dual stance. Every time you throw a left attack, you enter the gank stance. And yeah, every time when you throw a right attack, you enter the anti-gank stance. So, and in these 3 stances, all your attacks have different properties. So you can perform a light attack, alright? You can perform a heavy attack. You can perform a bash, alright? And they are completely different. It depends on the stance you are in. So, you already saw it. Every time when you enter dual stance, all your attacks they are 400 millisecond attacks. Alright, before you scream spam, 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 here's the thing. Every time when you enter the stance, you can spam, of course, top line with 400 milliseconds. But every time when you throw in a different direction, like the next attack becomes a regular one. So you can, the best thing you can do is like 400, 400, and then 500. So you cannot really talk about spam. So that's the light attack on dual posture. Now, all your attacks, heavy attacks, and top attacks are unblockable. And you already saw it. Bashes. That's a quick bash that guarantees you light attack. And you of course can chain into a heavy, blah blah blah. So that's the dual stance. Alright. Now let's talk about the gank stance. In gank stance we, like in ganking, the things you want in ganks is high damage, bleed, and pins. And guess what? She has everything of that. So every time, for example, when someone has revenge, you can do the Wushi style, apply bleed. You can stack the bleed. Overall, it's 1 damage, base damage, plus 12 bleed damage. Alright? That's your light attack. So, in gank stance, all your heavies, like her damage is in average, kinda average. Like Virtuosa damage is 26 at best. For example, here the unblockable just deals 26, but in gank stance they deal 30 damage. And that's exactly what you want. For example, your mate is he lands a setup, he bashes someone, and then he confirms both your heavies. And in this case, you can throw 6 damage at your opponent. It's great for ganking. So, and what about the dash? You can throw the pin. It's good forward movement. It's D50 damage. It's not that great, but it's a pin, guys. Pins are great setups for ganks. When can you perform pins? Usually, I have to confirm that, of course, when she's released. But usually, you can perform pins out of a block stun, out of a parry stun, out of a counter GB, hit stun. It's a great ganking tool to actually prepare a setup. So that's ganking stance. Okay, gank stance. In anti-gank stance now. Let's talk about anti-gank stance. In anti-gank stance, all your attacks are swings. Alright? And they're usually great to keep away your enemies by zoning them out, create some space, keep your gankers in block stun. Maybe when you're lucky you hit them. But that's actually it. They have just wide swings. You see, in ganking stance or in dual stance, they're all stabs. But in anti-gank stance, the light attacks become swings. And with a good hitbox. So, makes sense, right? So, what about the heavies? The heavies have super early hyper armor and they are swings. So, that's so now heavy, you see how early it is. That's so great. In my theory, like heavy on red, it's actually possible with her. You can go the left one, of course, then I enter gank stance again, but you always have to be aware of that. And in gank stance, you can perform, of course, a bash, and it is a super kick that war splats people. I personally, I'm not a big fan of that because it has a really rare. It's super situational. But if it lands, of course you can wall splat someone. But outside of that, it doesn't confirm anything. Oh wait. Kick. Now I throw a left, right light. Nothing. It doesn't confirm anything unless you wall split someone. And that's the unique thing about her. Oh yeah, obviously, every time when you enter a stand, you dodge all attacks that can be dodged. Right? Including bashes.
Ce la fai, idiota! Che sonno!
So now we remove that. It's so funny. And every time when you dodge something, you can repost with a light attack. And of course you can throw them in a different direction to get into the right or to get into the stance you want. For example, oh yeah, I'm in a gank situation, I go in anti-gank stance now. So, oh, I'm ganked now. That's VIRTUOSA's most unique thing. So, what is also, like, you can also do a regular forward dodge, bash, that confirms the light, and the light you can throw in all kinds of directions. Get into the right stance again, and of course you can do a dodge attack, but this is also a very unique thing. You can perform dodge attacks not in one direction, not in the two directions, you can throw them in three directions. So every time when you do a dodge attack, for example here I dodge to the left, bam, left attack. I dodge to the left, top attack. I dodge to the left, right attack, and vice versa. I dodge to the right, left attack, top, right. But they are all steps, so be careful. But in team fights or in anti-gank situations and all kinds of situations, your enemy has to be aware of the three different directions. Like very often happens also at me as well. When I see someone dodging to the left, I expect the left dodge attack, and so on. So, What else is very unique on her? Yeah, okay. Her chain heavies. Oh yeah, her chain heavies are great. Every time when you throw a chain heavy, they inherit the property of your first heavy. For example, you throw a heavy, that is neutral, then your side heavy becomes unblockable. For example, also here I throw a right heavy, and then I throw a, spoiler alert, I throw a left heavy. The left heavy becomes in theory has hyper armor. That's very cool gimmick. And guess what? She has also one thing for heavies. She can't soft feint her heavies. That means you throw the side heavy, then I go to the top, and I can soft feint the second heavy into a different direction. For example, yeah, it was here right, left, but I go for top now. Wait, here, left and top, and guess what? It inherits the property of the direction you throw. Great, right? So in this case, I throw left, top into right. In theory, my finisher heavy becomes unblockable. So left, top, and right. Great, right? And that is super good. For example, a lot of people, when they see an unblockable, they option select with whatever. They option select with a light attack to interrupt you, with a zone attack, dodge attack. But with that trick, you can bypass that. You can counter that by throwing always a hyper armor heavy. Or when you think someone has a full block or something like that, right? You can throw this and then go for an unblockable. Very cool, right? So have I missed something? I actually don't think so. That's actually it. Like we talked about fluid feints, expressive fluid, flourish, bypass entering posture by chaining attacks. Yes, yes, yes. Bait and switch, side dodge attacks. Yeah, you can throw them in all direction. Yeah. That's actually Virtuosa in a nutshell. And now we can talk about specific moves. For example, her zone attack. She has no zone attack. It's a, if I have to guess, it's a 600, maybe 700 millisecond bash that allows you to punish someone with 12 damage. But I'm wondering, like it has a wide swing. You might stack up multiple opponents or friendlies when you hit someone by alone by the sheer force. Like Briar stuff. For example, when he throws the zone attack, chances you stack up everyone around you is very high. Of course, if you land the bash. What else? Zone attack. Yeah, there's nothing else so much to talk. But the most interesting thing about her are the stances, man. The stances are so good. Alright. I think we talked about everything. Yeah, of course. Before I forgot. Can, of course, taunt someone in your stance. Very important, guys. Alright, now let's demonstrate the abilities, the feats. Let's talk about her abilities. What can I say? On level 1, usually you know, every time you enter the stance, you always have to use an attack, right? Like that. But you also can dodge attacks by what else? Yeah, every time you have to usually throw an attack, you enter your stance, right? But with the level 1, we have the stance on command. Level 1 now. It looks like nothing, but it's actually very useful. Other heroes have the stance on command. For example, wearing a guard, you only have to press a button, full block. Virtuosa is different. You always have to throw an attack. That makes it very impractical in team fights to counter
Ce la fai?
unlock attacks. But with the level 1, it's absolutely doable.
Senza sosta. Che
Someone
sonno.
like JJ, team fight, positioned himself, so GE unlock. See that coming? Aha. Boom. Press level 1.
Idiota.
And then
Senza sosta.
so,
Che sonno.
with the level 2. Yeah. I have to get out of here. So with the level 1, with the level 2, every time when you enter the stance, for example, I go out of combat. Every time when you enter a stance, you heal yourself for a small amount. It has a small, you trigger a cooldown then, so you cannot spam it. But it's very handy for longer fights. Like longer fights, I have checked it guys, my fights in average take minutes. It take in average 1 to 2 minutes. Because you get ganks, you can stall properly, you can even trigger the level 2 by using level 1. So it has a good synergy. And maybe you have noticed, you can now talk about the level 3. Every time when you land an attack, like with the repost,
Idiota.
dodge an attack, counter it,
Che sonno.
you apply debuff. And I applied it already, and it went into a cooldown. But usually the repost has a cooldown. Wait, the repost has a damage of 14. Now with the debuff, it's 18 damage. But you only debuff one guy. It's okay feat for to get an extra advantage in 1v1s. In team fights, it becomes less useful. So, what else? Ah, yeah, the level 4, the unique level 4 guys. Okay, here we go. I take some damage. Hit me. Thank you. Hit me to critical, please. All right. Not below 1.
Ce la fai?
I have to take the damage. Going. Alright, that's enough. So, this is a game changer or a team fight changing ability. Every time when you use it,
Andiamo.
it's a huge burst heal. And your team, you and your team gain a great damage resistance. So, if I have to guess, it's around 10-50%. But yeah. Burst team heal, I'm sorry. And a damage resistance. Great ability. Alright, that's our unique feat. Okay, now let's talk about her perks. So, perks. I think perks wise she's nothing special. So, you have access to Endurance, Headhunter, and Devourer and Aegis. Alright. Most of the people they play Endurance, Headhunter, and Devourer. I think that's also my first build. But Aegis is also a very legit build. So that's it. So now let's talk about Virtuosa's perks. I think Virtuosa's perks are nothing special, to be honest. Here in this build I use Aegis, but most people will probably use Endurance, Headhunter, and then it's optional. You can go for Devourer or Aegis. Nowadays I prefer Aegis because we have so many shield skills now and shield buffs on maps. And even a revenge, you benefit from Aegis. But yeah, Devourer, universally good. Every time when you execute someone, you gain 10 health more. But that's pretty much it. I can also talk about different abilities, feats. So on level 1 you have Speed Revive. I don't think no one's using it. Tireless is an okay option, but I think everyone's using Muscle Memory. To be honest, it's a must-have, in my opinion, on Virtuosa. So, artful improvisation, also in my opinion, a must-have. But you have a second option, Inspire, which is also very nice, and Thrilling Comeback. I think Virtuosa has so many sustained feats. He doesn't need Thrilling Comeback, in my opinion. But if you use it, fine, I guess. But in my opinion, muscle memory, artful improvisation, must-have. So, superior retort. We talked about that. Every time when you land a counter in your dodge stance, in whatever stance, enemy suffers from a defense debuff. Yeah. But every time when you apply it, the skill goes on cooldown. So, which is kind of bad, I guess. In a 1v1 situation, this is very helpful. But in a teamfight situation, not so much. So, what options does she have, huh? Punch through, to be honest, I will probably never use that on her. She has no enhanced lights. That's why it's a weak choice in my opinion. Second Wind is probably my way to go. Second Wind is a universally good skill. You can use this in a 1v1, you can use this even in ganks, you can use this in anti-ganks, you can use this in teamfights. It's always helpful to recover some health. So, now let's talk about her level 4 options. And I have to say, oof, that's a tough one, guys. Rejuvenating Spirit is a unique feat, especially in tournaments. It's unique feats. In tournaments, you cannot stack the same feats. For example, you cannot use, for example, 2 Star Wars banners, and that's here the case. Like, it has a second option, Star Wars banner, a moral booster, and all 3 skills are really good. But in my opinion, it's Rejuvenating Spirit. It's a heal. It's a damage reduction buff for your team. They will be so thankful for you for that. And yeah, that's Virtuosa's all Virtuosa's abilities and options. So, I hope you like that kind of presentation video. Yeah, let's do a summary, I guess. Or conclusion. Now to the conclusion. Overall, she's a good hero, but her focus is more on defense. What do I mean with that? Overall, she has no damage abilities. She has no, for teamfights for example, she has no wide unblockable swings to deal damage to multiple people. And her hardest hitting move is 30 damage with heavy restrictions. You can only do it out of a ganking stance. It only will land in the max punish or in the or when someone's actually confirming your attacks. That's why, in my opinion, her focus is more on the defense. She is on top of that very hard to play. Like, you have to know when to use different moves and in which conditions, yada yada. So, best played in Dominion. Her unique stance is best played in Dominion. In 1v1, I think it's not that useful, but we will see that in a duel tournament. I'm pretty sure how often she is picked. She has probably one of the highest skill ceiling in the game because of all of the factors you have to know. You have to learn the timings, you have to learn the stances, you have to learn what options you have in duels, teamfights, ganks. It is insane. But in the long term, if you master her, you have insane fun. That's it. That's my video about Virtuosa. I hope you like it. Leave a like and subscribe.